So in this video, I wanted to switch things up a little bit and talk about the Pentel Orenz series of mechanical pencils. So that's Orenz, or maybe it's Orenz. I'm not really sure how it's pronounced. But this is a family of mechanical pencils, with the flagship being this one, the Orenz Nero. This is just kind of one of the standard models in the series. This one sells for maybe $6, $8. I'm not really sure. This one is about $31, $32. So it's definitely on the higher end from kind of like a mainstream non-specialty pencil. So the thing with the Orenz series is that it uses an anti-lead braking system. So if you break a lot of lead and you're immediately thinking you want a Delgard from Zebra or something like that, then the Orenz is a good one to look at. It's definitely not as popular a family of pencils. So if we see right here, we can see it says, please do not advance the lead beyond the pipe. So basically what you're looking for, it's a little hard to make out, but you want the lead to not extend past the pipe. Or the sleeve, as they call it. What these pencils have is essentially a floating sleeve. So the sleeve can hide in there like that. Then when you want to use the pencil, you push it out. And normally you would feel like you need to push it again and again and again and again. And that's how you classically wrote with mechanical pencils, but that's how the lead breaks. With the Orenz or Orenz, whatever it is, you would just leave it out like that. And what happens is this little pipe piece can slide back on its own. But that's not going to happen if you're holding it down like this, right? So the floating pipe will protect the lead and stop it from breaking as it is held down, and it will slide back on its own. So that basically what that means is you never need the lead to go past the pipe. And as the lead wears in, the pipe will push in. So we'll look at this here. Basically it looks like there's no lead at all, but let's see if this works. So Pentel. So this is the Orenz in a 0.5 millimeter. This is actually a kind of a strange pencil because the whole point of the Orenz is that it doesn't break and that you could use a very skinny lead. I just happened to buy this one at 0.5 millimeter because that's usually the lead I use, but it's really better in a 0.3. That would be my favorite for this series. It's also sold in a 0.2 millimeter, so you could use a super thin lead. And this plain one, it has the Orenz anti-braking system, so you're writing with basically no lead out, and the pipe will slide back, and it will be protected and it won't break. The pipe will just get shorter and shorter and shorter, and then when you want more lead, you just push it out, and there you have it. And so this one has the anti-braking lead system and a full plastic body with a little bit of metal up front, a little bit of metal up here. The Nero is really interesting because this is the higher end pen in the series. If you look at it, it looks like it's metal. If you touch the grip, it feels like it's metal, but it's actually made out of what the company says is a metal plastic hybrid or blend. And I'm not really sure what that means, but it's kind of warm. Like initially when you touch the pencil, it feels cool like metal, and then it will warm up and feel like plastic. This back area always feels like plastic. It's really just the grip we're talking about. And the grip is super cool. It has a sort of waist to it. Nice design. It has a little indent here where it says 0.3 millimeter Pentel, blah, blah, blah. And that is sort of a little bit tapered in. It's very cool. Metal button at the top, metal clip. Has a really nice click to it. And the pipe will pop out. When you're not using this, you hide the pipe. And that's how you would transport this pen. So it's hidden. It's not scratchy at all. When you want to use it, you push it out. See if we can get the focus. So you push it out, it pops out like that. And you don't have to click this to push it out. Actually, when you push it out and click it, it goes out at a crazy pace, but you don't need to. What you would do with this is you would also leave it hidden like this, and you'll write. So this is the Pentel Orenz Nero, and they usually spell it Orenz Nero, and you can see Orre. So it's basically Orenz Nero, and Nero is Oren backwards. Plus Nero is also Italian for black, and this is all black. It's a pretty clever name, I guess. So this one, in addition to having the Orenz anti-breaking lead system, is also an auto advance. So as you write and you push this in, the pipe will go back and forth with and extend lead. So you see how that works? Basically the pipe will go in, it will grab the lead and go out. That's obviously a very exaggerated action, but that is what's going to be happening as you write in just micromillimeter instances, and it'll keep the lead at a consistent length. And that's really useful for drafting and technical purposes. It's actually not that big of a deal when you're just writing. When you're just writing, the lead advancing, it doesn't help you as much. The actual click now and then is not that big of a deal. When you're drawing long drafting type lines or something, maybe it makes a difference. But for just writing, it's not a huge deal. What is a problem with this system is that there's no spitting of the lead the way you would get from a Kuratoga or something like that. So this is actually ends up being a pretty scratchy pencil to write with. But if you're think about it, you're writing. Your hand naturally has an angle. You're not spinning the pencil as you go. So naturally, you are going to end up with, it's a little hard to make out, but a kind of sharp point to the pencil. So, with a drafting pencil, you'd be holding it straight up and down. That's not a big deal. With a standard pencil, if you're writing, you're going to inevitably end up with a pointed tip. You can probably make it out there. And this ends up being kind of a scratchy pencil. It's not, a catastrophe, but it will end up being a little scratchy. It is also scratchy because if you think about it like this, you're writing with that lead not extended at all. So inevitably the pipe, the metal piece, is coming in contact with a piece of paper. It's not really that big of a deal with the 0.3 millimeter version, but with the 0.2 millimeter version, that paper can catch, the pipe can catch on the paper, and it can be a little bit of an issue. So this is a pencil you'd want to hold up a little bit more upright as you're writing, as opposed to down at an angle. Getting back to the pencil itself, it really is quite cool. The hardware is beautiful. This piece comes off, and you could take the whole thing apart the way you can most good mechanical pencils. You could see the lead comes out. I knew that was going to happen. What I wanted to show you is this piece is actually spring-loaded, which is quite cool. It's just a really beautifully constructed pencil. The fact that it's not actually made of metal is just kind of strange to me. It has like a kind of metallic feel, but it's not necessarily metal. It's some sort of metal hybrid, which I don't really fully grasp, and Pentel doesn't really explain. Some things are also a little bit weird about it. Like, you can't push this piece in. If you push this down and put the pipe in, it will not extend. It just kind of flops around. So to put the pipe back, you actually have to push it in and push it and actually give a little force to it. Then it will hide itself. You could do that with your fingernail, but it's not really that comfortable. You really need to use a piece of paper. Pencil has a metal cap, which is cool, and that little chrome bit, that's nice. It does not have an anti-jamming tool, which is a little bit annoying, but not a big deal. This is not really a pencil that should jam because everything down here is kind of free-floating. But, skinnier pencils are more prone to jamming, so it's something to keep in mind. I always want to put it back like that, and that does not work. So really nice click mechanism, but you'll never use it because this is an auto pencil, which is kind of interesting. But the things to keep in mind is that you have the Orenz Nero, which is a flagship. This is anti-breaking and automatic push, or automatic, whatever you want to call it. Auto advance, I guess, would be the technical term. And you have the standard Orenz, which is much more affordable, but all plastic, not a plastic metal hybrid. and anti-braking, but does not have the auto advance features. This one is available in a few different sizes, but this one will go up to a 0.5 millimeter, even though it sort of defeats the purpose. This one will only be sold, the Orenz Nero is only sold in a 0.2 and 0.3 millimeter versions. So definitely something to keep in mind. I think the Orenz Nero for me is just super cool, and I love how it's made. I love how it works. I just don't like using it so much. I don't think it's great for writing. When you have like, you know, mathematics or something short and technical, I think it's a good choice, but generally speaking, it's not really a great option. Then the Orenz is pretty cool, and you get that good, very simple, very effective anti-braking lead system for like $8. So that about covers it. I've been wanting to do a video about this pencil for a while. Just really cool and really well done. The materials are all really cool, like just nice work on this Pentel. That's very cool. And then even the materials let you see kind of how you're supposed to put the pencil, you know, how you retract the sleeve, how you're supposed to use the pencil, how the audio advance system works, and all that other stuff. Just really nicely done, and makes sense why this is a higher end pencil and sort of justifies that price tag. If people like this video, I'll do some more coverage of the Orenz Nero specifically. I think despite some of its quirks, it's really the most interesting pencil in the lineup. But definitely some very cool offerings from Pentel. Thanks for watching.